Disney, please stop ruining my childhood. Welcome to the universe. This is Mac, and today we'll be looking at Hocus Pocus 2 and why it's a disappointment. Spoilers ahead. So, yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 is offensively horrible. It's so disappointing the way this movie turned out. Everyone had high hopes for it. You guys remember for almost every year since social media became a thing, people were making fake Hocus Pocus 2 posters and releasing them every single year like, oh, it's coming next year, it's coming next year. Well, it finally came. And I miss the days with the fake posters, y'all. Let's cover the good stuff first, because there's not much of that. I will say the beginning of the film had a fun opening. It takes place when Winifred, Mary, and Sarah Sanderson are little girls in Salem before they have the use of their magic. The actress that plays young Winifred, her name is Taylor Henderson, and she absolutely kills it. She gets all of the faces, the voice inflections, and the gestures right. And honestly, I was really excited watching the beginning of this movie. Of course, it was nice to see the Sanderson sisters again, although they definitely look like they've aged 20 years, and it's not really addressed. Another good thing, the main actress playing the character of Becca, Whitney Peak, she was pretty good. Unfortunately, there's not much else that I can praise. And now we go for the bad. Well, like I said earlier, the beginning of the film is actually quite interesting. But then as soon as we go to present day, that's when the problems start. You see, this man, Tony Hale, you know, that guy that you've probably seen in something, but you don't remember what. He played both the Reverend Trask in the olden days and Mayor Trask in present day. And the first scene with this man in the present day goes on forever. Honestly, I would say that's one of the biggest issues with the film. Every scene feels like it goes on too long to the point that it becomes awkward. It's like they finished the draft and they didn't have enough to make a full-length movie. So they just added a little bit to each scene, but it does not feel natural. The other major problem with this movie is that there are several things that make no sense. The first instance when I really noticed this was after the character of Gilbert, who works at the Sanderson Sisters Museum, gives the main character, Becca, and her friend Izzy, a new black flame candle. He explains later that he saw the sisters back in 1993 during the first movie, when they were killed under the rising sun. And then he says he found the book, and the book taught him how to make a new black flame candle. We don't see any of this. It just happened. He just found the book. The book trusted him enough, somehow made a new black flame candle. And mind you, the character of Gilbert in the movie does not have any magic as far as we know. So this is the first thing that makes no sense. How did he make a black flame candle? Why did the book trust him? Where did he find the book? We don't know. It's only told. It's not shown. Another thing is when the Sanderson sisters do return, they immediately go into Elton John's The Witch is Back, which is strange because the first movie did not have an off-kilter musical number. It is known for I Put a Spell on You. That is the most iconic scene, I would say. But it made sense because they were at a party on a stage singing. When they came back, they just start singing and it switches to a track rather than actual audio. And it's very distracting. And this is made no better by the characters of Becca and Izzy saying, why are they singing? Who are they performing for? I like to call this she-hulking these days. You can point something out as being bad, but that doesn't make it any less bad. I imagine they were in the writer's room. Somebody brought up the musical number idea. And then the other people were like, no, that doesn't really make sense. Why would they be singing? Who would the audience be? And then a guy slammed his pencil down on the desk and said, I got it. We'll just have the characters say it makes no sense. No, that's not how it works. Furthermore, there is a scene in Hocus Pocus 2 where someone is watching the first movie. And at this point in the movie, they already established that everything that happened in the first movie happened. So how would someone be watching the movie in the universe in which the movie happened? I know it's like cute little Easter egg. Oh, look, they're watching the movie, but it breaks the universe. It makes no sense that they would be watching the movie. The same goes for a scene not long later where there are two kids dressed up as the quote-unquote master and his wife from the first movie. Again, it makes no sense. Why would they have these costumes? That would make no sense in any other context in the universe where this actually happened. There is another scene later on. Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure he spoke in a British accent in the first movie, but he does in this one, except for one scene. There is one delivered line, I'm not sure of the line, in Hocus Pocus 2, delivered not with an English accent, but with an American accent. And then he goes right back to a British accent. That's something that could have easily been caught and reshot or used a different take. I'm just not sure why the accent slip was put in the final film. Yet another thing that doesn't make sense is Becca and her powers, her witchiness. Of course, you know Becca is going to be a witch from the very start. It's hinted at very, very heavy-handedly. It's like, there's no way she could not be a witch with how much hints they throw at you. But it makes no sense because in the beginning of the film, the Sanderson sisters go into the woods and end up meeting someone called the Witch Mother. This is the only time she appears, by the way. She threatens to eat them, but then she notices that they smell different because they're witches. Yet, when the Sanderson sisters return in present day, they smell them and try to eat them. Becca and Izzy claim that they're 40 years old. First of all, this would not work because they can smell children. And 40-year-olds obviously aren't children. And also, if they can smell the difference between a regular child and a witch child, they would have known that Becca was a witch straight from that point. You can't break your own rules in your own movie. The final thing I would like to talk about is the Sanderson sisters themselves. Now, that's what everybody loved from the first one. Everybody knows all the lines. It's one of the most quotable movies of all time. And that's the problem. The Hocus Pocus 2 script, I swear to God, has to be made up of the same lines and blocking for reactions as in the first script, as in the first movie. It's literally the same lines and the same reactions to everything, just different things. More modern things, like the scene in the first one where they thought the road was a river and they step onto it. 'Tis firm, you know? They basically do the exact same thing in the second one, just with automatic doors instead. It's the same scene verbatim. Except in Hocus Pocus 2, it's even worse because they put a fart joke in. Because that was needed. Okay, I said last thing, but this is the last thing. The biggest offender of all time, it was not funny. The football player character, Cassie's boyfriend, Froy Gutierrez from Cruel Summer, watch that instead. It's on Hulu, it's great. He was just dumb jock, but none of his dumbness was funny. And I'm not sure if it's just because I've seen him in a serious role before, but it just didn't land for me. It didn't seem genuine. Nothing in this movie seemed genuine, honestly. It feels like it was written in a short amount of time. It was shot in a short amount of time. Edited in a short amount of time. This is what we got after asking for it for so many years. We got it. But it kind of sucks. Honestly, I think what they should have done instead is ran with the idea of the Sanderson sisters starting out facing off against this witch mother character who we see for 5 minutes and that's it, getting their full power, something along those lines. Because this was not it. And honestly, the young Winifred performance from Taylor Henderson was the best thing about the movie. And that was in the very beginning. But I guess I'll stop bitching for now. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, join the universe, all that happy fun stuff. Happy October, y'all.